do this market report every seminar. We want to keep our investors updated on how the Calgary market's doing because it changes and it's changing right now. We were talking to a couple of investors and they were wondering, how come I'm not getting multiple offers on my property? Well, the market has changed a bit and you can see it reflected in these figures right here. The active listings are up almost 50%. We were praying for more active listings for years now to give our investors more choice. A lot of investors don't want to get into a multiple offer situation and pay too much for a property. That will put them in a cash flow negative position because their mortgage payment becomes too high. So to see this inventory finally increasing, it helps us on the buy side, but for sellers, it may not be as good.
Tim, some sellers have missed out. We were just saying that earlier on in the spring, we were teaching our investors to get rid of those properties that we call problem properties. Problem properties could be, there could be some issues with the property, or there could be some upcoming maintenance to be had, and you don't really want to spend the money, or you don't have the money to spend on that property. We've been in that situation. Or it could be a property that is just very hard to rent out and doesn't attract great tenants. So if that's the case, we were telling people to sell it. Now, Tim, it's hard to move those properties. So what we're saying is, because the buyers have more choice, depending on the price, they're going to be looking at everything, and they're going to be nickeling and diming on every aspect of that property when it comes down to the property inspection.
Yeah, so you see the average listings up almost 50%. The average, the total sales you see for October, the first half of October, are down just over 1.3%. But if you look back a little further left along the line there, you look at the whole month of September, sales were down almost 18%. So when we're seeing this, the sales volume is down 18%, but the listings are up 50%. To us, that's a market change. We're turning into a buyer's market again. If we're not, we're already there in some segments of the market, but soon the whole market as a whole will be in a buyer's market situation.
So what is going on? This is what everybody has to understand. People are sitting on the sidelines because of interest rates. We all know interest rates will be coming down. We're expecting, Tim, roughly 1% between now and spring. Okay, we're not worried about this at all. So for you investors out there, from now to, I would say, the end of January is the best time to invest, just because inventory is up, prices are going to soften, so you're not overpaying. You can choose not to get into multiple offers, where our clients, Tim, in the spring had no choice but to get into multiple offers. You won't have to get into that right now, and you can really have a look at the big picture instead of making a rush decision. We've seen people, Tim, we had to buy properties with no conditions. We even seen condos sell with no conditions, which we would hate for someone to have to do that. But thank goodness it has turned around. So what we're seeing going forward, with a 1%, a whole percent drop over another, what, Tim, 4 or 5 months, we'll be seeing that. They were talking a 0.5% decrease maybe on the next one. Who knows what they'll do? We'll see. But we're expecting 1% between now and mid to late spring. And if that happens, we feel that the market's just going to take off again. And why are we so confident in saying that? Simply because you look at the bigger markets, Toronto, Vancouver, prices, Tim, in some cases, in some categories, especially condos, are not double, but triple the prices we have here. So Calgary, we already know earlier in the year, it looked very attractive for people to move here. We feel with the population boom that Canada as a whole has had, and now we have more properties coming on the market, it's going to look better and better for people to move here.
Yeah, and the final line we look at down there is the average price. You can see October so far is almost 13%, it's 12.96. In September, it was 13.4. So why are we still seeing these increases over 10% in prices, and yet inventory is going up and sales are falling? What we're seeing is the mid-range and higher end properties are starting to sell. They've been dropping in price all along for the last 2 years. Well, people are finally getting into those markets. So what we're seeing is that is driving the average up a little bit. The middle of the road properties, they're starting to slow, and so are the lower end properties, the condos, because so much of this rental inventory is coming on, it's dropping the rental rate for condos. So they're looking at, well, if I buy, what will my mortgage rate be? What will my carrying cost be? And they go, well, I can go out and rent now and it'll be lower. So that's softening the condo market a little bit as well.
Yeah, so that's our market update. We're in for some good times, Tim, for the next 5 months. Finally, what that looks like for us realtors, we can actually go out there and show our clients 2 or 3 properties, not just one, and then decide on the best one, and then maybe go in below list price, Tim, depending how many days it's been on the market. I can tell you, for some of our crew investors on the weekend, we went into a property and we put an offer in, Tim, $60,000 less than the list price, and we're still negotiating 2 days later. So yeah, you got to hold on to see what you can get out there, and that's where it's heading.
Yeah, so it's a good thing for investors. There's going to be a lot more supply, and you'll have a lot more choice. Gone are the days of running out, seeing one property with 10 other buyers and writing offers on the hood of your car. So that's our market update. Thanks for sticking with us on that. We'll get going on our seminar. Oh, before we do though, Danielle DeMarco, our real estate and mortgage expert, usually comes in and gets to talk about the current issues in the mortgage market. She's had an illness in the family, so she won't be joining us. But if you're looking for a real estate investment mortgage specialist, Danielle DeMarco is our go-to mortgage specialist. She not only creates or writes a mortgage for you, she creates a real estate investment plan. So she can plot out, if you want to buy 2 or 3 or 4 properties, which we're going to get into in this seminar, she will develop a real estate mortgage plan on how you can get there as soon as you can get there using your current income and financing situation.
Yeah, so give her a buzz or take down her number, and that is your first step when you want to work out where you're at. It may be tapping into the unused equity that you have in one of your properties, or just working out how to buy that second, third, or fourth property. She's worked with us since 2006, and she's really good at what she does.
All right.